Welcome to the second episode of the Peak Nation podcast. This episode is brought to you by Agogi Combatives. They are located at 95 Hunt Drive in Rossville, Georgia. Also, Aries 23, January 5th. That's this Friday at the world famous Cotton Eye Joe. Your tickets are still available at www.fightertix.com. Trevor, what's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot, man. Just been getting after it a little bit. Started turning it up in training and trying to go ahead and knock the rust off for this next camp, man. I'm looking to get back in there here in the next couple months sometime. So I'm just trying to. And camps, they're rough, man. If you ain't in shape a little bit, and you gotta pack it all in just a few weeks. So I'm just trying to get my cardio up, get my muscles conditioned, and just get past that soreness part.
Is it harder coming off a holiday?
Oh, dude, I'm thick. I'm thick right now, man. Every time I roll with somebody, they're like, "Man, how much you weighing?" But yeah, it's them holidays are. I enjoyed myself this holiday, man. Most of the time, there's been so many Christmases and Thanksgiving that I'm in there munching on like a piece of turkey or something, and all my family's in there with biscuits and gravy, turkey and dressing, you name it, man. I'm just like, it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, you did have a fight in December, which is, I mean, it would seem like that would be the worst time to have a fight lined up.
Yeah.
Having to go through training camp, through Thanksgiving and, all the food going around at Christmas time. But luckily you got to chill this time, huh?
Yeah, I've enjoyed myself for sure, man. That's like old Torres, man. He won't take a fight near the holidays. He's exempt that as a possibility. That ain't even a thing for him.
How big does he get during the holidays?
Oh my God, Kyle. He gets blowed up to like 225, man, somewhere in there, 227, and it's just miserable out here when he gets that big. It ain't even fun training with him.
Yeah. Well, this episode I want to talk about peace, right? You know, our religion is based off our Savior, Jesus Christ, who has been called the Prince of Peace. The Bible refers to him as that. I think one thing that kind of gets, messed up or, people don't understand is that being peaceful doesn't mean that you are weak at all. There's a quote by Jocko, a Navy SEAL guy that's always on Rogan's podcast and stuff. He said, "You can't truly call yourself peaceful unless you're capable of great violence. If you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless." I think that makes the most sense out of any quote I ever heard about that. And being from a outsider, guys looking in, they're like, well, how can Trevor have faith in, the Prince of Peace if he's a cage fighter? Well, I think it's easy enough. Jesus was not some weak dude. He wasn't a harmless guy, and he was really attracted to guys like Trevor. What do you think about that, Trevor? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, man, for as long as we've been here, God's instilled warrior spirits inside of, his followers and stuff. And I mean, if you look at people like King David and, it was just, there's so much death and stuff that occurred in the Old Testament and everything, man. And I still believe that them same old warrior spirits are instilled in, today's society. And I mean, what am I supposed to do with it? Keep it bottled up for the rest of my life, man? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. I mean, I get to go out there and have a good time, let out a little aggression, and just sling some bones, man. So yeah, I definitely don't feel like he instilled these gifts in me and give me all these, wonderful blessings to just sit around and go to a factory and just or whatever. I ain't knocking anybody that does that. I'm just saying, like, me personally, like I've got something inside of me that's got to come out, man. And this is the way for me to let it all out.
Yeah, and I think I've told you before. I have. I've worked in the ministry before. I've worked for churches. I've told you the most important ministry I've ever been a part of, as far as reaching the masses, is your fight career. I wholeheartedly believe that more people are being reached with, the story of salvation through your life and through your fight career, which, is kind of catapulted you into the mainstream mixed martial arts fans living room, right? And every time you get the mic, you give the glory to God. um I was sent you, some things back and forth. Jesus took a whip to the temple when those guys were, selling merchandise in the temple. He overthrew tables. He wasn't weak, by no means. I think he did come the first time. He rode a donkey on that triumphal entry, and if you look, the symbolism of the donkey was to bring peace, right? And in a war, if somebody wanted to call a truce, or they wanted to come, a messenger wanted to bring peace, he would send the messenger out on a donkey to go talk to, other warriors on the other side. But in Revelations, we see a whole different Jesus. We see one on a horse, which anytime a horse is involved in some type of war imagery or symbolism, that means he's coming to wage war. So we
Yeah,
see two different guys. You know what I mean?
yeah, we seen the humble and nice version, man. That rowdy ruffin's coming one of these days. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think,
I
yeah,
was talking,
absolutely, man.
I was talking to Austin Higdon the other day, man, and was something got brought up about the end of times, and I said, I just hope at the end of all this, man, I get to ride around on a some kind of cool horse with like some kind of mythical sword killing demons. Like he was. So I mean, if it comes down, if when it comes that time, man, I want to be on a horse killing demons.
Yeah, I see it. It's gonna happen, Trevor. That's the yeah, man. I mean, it's awesome to see, uh, just to see where you have taken this, where you're pushing, who you're pushing this message out to, who has been able to respond and be, their ears open to the wonderful message that has, changed your life, changed a lot of guys' lives at Agogi Combatives, a lot of guys' life in mixed martial arts. Um, and so that was one thing, I want to talk about today is just, it's not, a lot of times we see in churches, not all churches, I'm not saying all churches, we see passive aggressive, weak men a lot of time leading, these things. And they may look down on a Trevor Peak with a message, or they may look down on, you know, who knows, Jelly Roll, or whoever it is, out there that, has found this message and has turned their life around. But the raw, that raw Christianity, or that raw salvation, where you get to see the man that was once dead come back to life. I mean, that's what I'm here for, brother. That's what I love the most. I love to see it, salvation in action. And dude, it's been awesome to see your career and see that transformation in your life, man. It's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, man, it's been incredible. Yeah, I'd say I've caught a little bit of backlash, from two uppity people, throughout the course of this career, man. But I I really don't care, man. I literally don't care. I mean, it's we all got our dance to go through in this life, and all I can say to them people is examine yourself. Don't be examining me. You mind your own business and you do your thing, and I'm gonna do my thing, and we'll see who tells more people about God in the end.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what it's a man. I caught it was real heck in the beginning, man. I was catching a little bit about it, not too bad, but I wouldn't say, but it's just people confused about how you could go in there and be so violent and then talk about Jesus at the end of it and stuff. I caught a little bit of that in the beginning, man, and throughout the course of my career, like I said, I have, but it's overall, man. I think even a lot of them people have kind of turned maybe their opinions around because I mean I get to go in a place that I mean, they ain't likely to be heard a lot about, about Jesus or anything like that. I mean, I give my testimony one time at the world renowned Cotton Eye Joe. You know what I mean? Like, got to go in a honky tonk bar, man, and tell people about Jesus and what he had done for me. So I get to go in these unassuming places and stuff and witness to these people who are just probably there to watch somebody get punched in the face, and for the end of the night, maybe they got something that touched them a little bit. I'm just here to plant seeds, man. Ultimately, God waters and tends to them, but just trying to plant seeds, man.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Every time you've done that, whether it be in a bar or wherever it is, there's no booze. There's a roar of reception, in this bar where people are receptive to this and they appreciate hearing that. I mean, that's a huge positive.
Yeah, it is, man. It's a man. I can't tell you the overwhelming messages I've received that throughout my career, Kyle. I mean, I ain't ashamed to say it, man. I just plumb dang cry like a baby sometimes, man, because like just a feeling of unworthiness, I guess I have with myself a lot. I feel like a lot of us go through life and we just feel unworthy of everything, man. And I see all these people messaging me, telling me like how my stories changed their life, and just, I mean, really, really just heartfelt messages, man. And I'll just start crying. I'm like, I don't know how you've put me in this position, man. How you've let me, tell my story and impact so many people. And this goes back to kind of that first episode, man. All that just ties back into making me more and more humble. Just because, man, I ain't nobody to follow really, as far as just the good Jesus is, and that's all I'm trying to do is point people in His direction, man.
Yeah, he's used both of us are addicts, or recovering addicts. I've been sober for 9 years on January 1 on a New Year's resolution. Is that not crazy?
New Year's resolution, man. See, you made the most out of it, dude. I get me and that's something I was wanting to talk about too, man. Is like the New Year, New Me thing, and say you made one and stuck by it, man. That was a good one to make, and that's a wonderful one to stick by. And that's just I wish I wish everybody could keep that same buzz and that same inspiration for that New Year, New Me stuff. Man, a friend of mine was talking about that here a couple of days ago, and I was planning on touching base on that a little bit on this podcast, and it's it that there is something exciting about a new year, man. You kind of just throw away that old, it feels like, and kind of start over and everything. But I just encourage you to if start this year with Jesus. I mean, that's the best tip I can give you. But if you're trying to do anything in your life, inspiration, motivation, all that ain't gonna cut it for you. All that fades away. It's like a vapor in the wind. Your motivation is gonna be gone. Your inspiration is gonna be gone at times. Like at the end of the day, discipline. I mean, discipline is what carries you through everything in life. It's the most important, attribute you can have in an individual. I feel like, other than maybe loyalty and integrity and all that, but discipline, man, it'll take you to where you want to go, man. You got them New Year's resolutions that they're exciting and they're fun, and they add that extra motivation, that inspiration and stuff, man. But how many times have you started this new year and you're like, man, new year, new me, in 2 weeks you're back to where's that new me at? It's he or she ain't here right now, man. It's very easy to lose,
Yeah.
and especially when you go to telling everybody about it, man. If you add this extra pressure on yourself and all this stuff, like, do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it,
Right.
and then stick with it, man. All these people start these adventures on a new healthy life, man, and they get so close to seeing results, man. Like, it's like, dude, just hold on another 2 weeks, man. You're about to see an ab line. You know what I mean? Or you're fixing to feel better. You're going to wake up an hour early. You're going to get some more sleep. Like, just so many like benefits that's going to start occurring, and you quit. You right before you start seeing them benefits, man. It's crazy to me, dude. I eat like crap for 4 or 5 days, man, and honestly, I don't care if I ever train again. So I can't imagine going through life and eating whatever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to, and not drinking the adequate amount of water. Like, it blows my mind. Guys, if you want a little tip of advice for your new year, new resolution, it's simple. drink a gallon of water a day. Just do that. It'd start changing a lot for you. Nah, I'm just going on, man. But for real, like
Yeah.
something as simple as that, man. It change your life, dude. It'll absolutely change your life. And my buddy had brought up a good point about that whole New Year, New Me stuff. Like, and you see it all over these influencers all over social media, like not really being welcoming to new individuals who's trying to step out of their comfort zone and trying to step into a life of bettering themselves. And there's just a lot of people out here that kind of shame people and make them feel bad about themselves, and they're not real welcome and everything. And I'm not saying I'm the best individual at walking up to new people when they come in the gym, but I try, man. I mean, I'm pretty introverted to myself. I mean, but I do try to, when I cross paths with these new people, make them feel welcome and talk to them and act like I've known them and stuff. And it's like, who are you influencing out here? You know what I mean? With your social media posts and stuff, or you're shaming people and everything, or are you really trying to influence people, or are you just trying to get likes on social media here?
Yeah.
We just wish the world would kind of be more welcoming to people trying to pursue a healthier lifestyle, whatever it may be that they're trying to do, instead of shaming them and stuff.
Yeah. For me, I think, the blessing was that once I realized I was an addict, or, I knew that for a long time, but I knew that I had poured so much energy in getting high or getting drunk or whatever it was, partying, whatever the case may be, that I knew I had to funnel it into a new direction. I couldn't just stop. I couldn't just stand still and just be sober and not do anything anymore. I knew that I had to take that energy, that addict mentality, and I had to put it into. That's why I think, honestly, recovering addicts a lot of times are the best at whatever they do next. If they do something next and they don't continue to use, if they go into fighting, or if they go into, social media, or if they go into podcasting, or they start getting behind, whatever it is. You see Logan Paul's, whatever that guy's name is, he was a recovering addict. The guy that helps him on Impulsive, I can't remember his name, but he was a recovering addict, and then he just put all of his energy into, social media stuff, podcasting. I think that's a good tip for guys. If that was your New Year's resolution to recover and to, the 12 steps work great, but also find something that you love, something that is a positive, for the rest of the world, something that's positive for you to get into, and pour yourself into it. And that will help you get sober, whether it's church, whatever it is. I think it's something I had to do. I know that's something I had to do.
Yeah, man. I feel like most of us, our brains go 1,000 miles an hour, man. And if you can channel that energy in a good direction, man, you can really make something of yourself. Yeah, it's tough out here. That's, man, whenever people's trying to get right in their lives with like addiction and stuff like that, man, I'm just a very, very strong advocate on getting in a gym. I
Yeah.
mean, I really am, Kyle. Just because, like, the main reason is because, for one, like, you've spent all these years neglecting your body and your health. Okay, so there's health benefits behind it too. But I think the biggest thing for me and stuff like that is, like, once you can make it past that not seeing results part, and you actually start feeling better and you're looking better and everything, like, you get this sense of like accomplishment, and you feel proud of yourself, and then you start looking in that mirror differently. And that's just, ultimately, man, that's one thing that makes the world go around a lot better for us, is how we look in that mirror. I mean, that's everything, man. I mean, you look in that mirror and you're disgusted and you hate that person you're looking at in the mirror, you're gonna hate everybody else, and you're gonna be a disgusting individual to the world. So if you can find a way to look in that mirror and humbly be proud of yourself. I'm not saying look in there and be like, man, God, I'm the best looking thing that's walked Sand Mountain. You know what I mean? Like, if you can humbly look in that mirror and find a way to have a little glimmer of hope, and be excited about what you're doing with yourself. It's just channels with everything in life, man. I think everybody physically capable should do some form of working out, man. Just it becomes a routine. It gives you a schedule. It helps teach you discipline, and the discipline just trickles over into everything you're doing in life, literally everything, man. So getting a schedule and teaching yourself a routine, man. The routine is just as important part as the actual health benefits or anything like that. I mean, I feel like most of us go through this life and we struggled with addictions and stuff, and the only routine we know is how to figure out how to get high again. And there's no really foundation or good solid, morals or anything like that. There's just no structure, man. We've been destroyers and all this stuff our whole life, just tearing everything up, man. There's no structure. So it's cool to do things like working out and stuff of that nature, if you can physically, to teach you structure, teach you discipline, get you a schedule together. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a strong advocate for it. I think everybody that's physically capable should have to work out some, man.
I want to talk about this. This is one thing that I've learned from you, and I don't know if I've ever told you this. Dealing with haters and people that may have turned you into the enemy, or turned me into the enemy, or anything like that. I've always noticed that you look at it from a different perspective, and sometimes when I would get mad, or you know what I mean, or anything like that, with people that are hating on me, you always saw it differently. And it's going back to what you said just a second ago, where it's an internal thing, where it's people who aren't happy with themselves, or they're not happy with the way things are going for themselves, and they put that off on you. How did you learn that? I guess because I learned it from you. I'm just being honest with you. I learned that from you, to kind of like just back off, see it for what it is. They're not happy with themselves. That's why they're not happy with you. But how did you learn that?
Well, if you can't see the world through somebody else's eyes, man, then you're gonna live life blindly. It's I guess what taught me the most out of everything, man, is Kyle. I've had so many scary, scary days, man, and I'm just like sitting there talking to somebody, and I'm like, I'm about to die right now. I feel like I'm going through it, man. I'm in a scary situation, and this person don't even know it, I'll be on the edge, talking, tripping out, and I'm like, they don't even know it, and I'm like, just sitting there thinking, I'm like, how many days have I been talking to somebody, and I'm like, well, they're just being a butthole today or something like that, and it's like, well, they just lost their grandmother last night. It's just, I always try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, man, because I've grew up around so many people and everything that just, it seems to be they only see the world through their eyes, and they don't know how to put themselves in somebody else's shoes, and it is very, very hard to come to an understanding with somebody like that, man. It's hard to get on the same ground. If you can't see my views and I can't see your views, then we just don't need to be seeing anything together, because I'm trying to surround myself with people who are capable of. I'm gonna stand in Trevor Peake's shoes today, and see what he's going through. And I guess that ultimately, my bad days, knowing how crazy life is during that day and during that moment, and everything, like it's that's ultimately what I guess taught me more than anything, man. But I ain't perfect at it, Kyle. I'm pretty. There's a lot of days, man. I'm just like, oh, you're about to get it, son. You're about to get it.
You're a pretty forgiving person, though. I have to give you credit. I mean, you're a forgiving person. You always look, like you said, from the other person's point of view, but you've only got two cheeks to turn, right? So
I ain't good at it, man. I ain't the best at it, dude. I try to have that understanding, man, but it depends on, like, I can be understanding if you can be respectful. You know what I mean? We can have terrible, terrible days, man. I mean, we can be about to die, but you gonna show me respect. I demand respect, man. I demand it, Kyle. That's like we was going through stuff here a long time ago, man, and a buddy of mine was like, man, nobody messes with you. And I was like, I demand respect, man. Like I demand it. I'm gonna be as respectful and as just integrity, loyal. I'll give everybody everything, man. If you give me a little bit, but I demand respect. And I don't even know how we got off on this tangent, but
But
just
it's a podcast, brother. You know how it
but yeah, man, it's cool stuff though, dude. I just I wished I was a little better at sometimes with that kind of stuff, man. It's just I feel like I am good at putting myself in other people's shoes, man, but we all struggle. That's it. I'm a fighter, man. You know what I mean? Like it's like let's just fight. We can figure it out after we fight.
Well, let's talk about some news, man. From MMA News, the 2023 awards, they had Brandon Moreno versus Pantoja. That second fight, they put that as fight of the year. Was there any other fight that you thought that happened in 2023 that could have been up there, or do you think that was the fight of the year?
Man, I wish I'd have thought about that. There's been some, God, there's been some great fights this year. I'm trying to think of which one was just the
For my
absolute.
money, Strickland versus Adesanya.
That's my, yeah, that's, dude, that one was awesome, man. I can't tell you how happy I was the next day, Kyle. I literally, that's the only fight in the UFC other than one of my own, that's the only fight I've ever watched in the UFC where I literally the next day was riding down the road smiling, man. I was like, oh boy, he did it, dude. That son of a gun, that wild, daggum crazy man did it, dude. I called Miles and I was like, I ain't never actually been like happy for a champion really like this. I was like, I'm genuinely happy for that guy, man.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Especially a lot of people gave him no shot against Adesanya. That fight was,
He's gonna have to wrestle him. He's gonna have
yeah,
to wrestle him if he wants a chance to win. Go in there and outbox him, and thus far he's retired him. So
yeah,
I mean, he'll come back, man. But as of right now, he's retired him. But
yeah,
dude, Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko.
yeah,
That was, dude. That was I don't saying that's fight of the year, but man, I was actually in Las Vegas on the UFC No Shea event. Mexican Independence Day. Dude, that place was awesome, man. That was pretty cool to witness, man. That was probably I'd say that's probably the rowdiest I've seen a crowd at the UFC event. So that fight to me was pretty awesome, man.
yeah, yeah. There were some special moments. I thought Volk versus Makachev was a good fight.
Dude,
Uh,
yeah.
who'd you think? Who do you think won that fight?
I don't know, man. It's such a good fight. I mean, you couldn't really be mad with any way they went with it. I mean, it was a good fight, man. I mean, I really just a flip a coin, dude.
That's kind of how I felt. To beat the champ, you got to beat the champ.
You gotta beat him.
You got to beat him
You
good. I
gotta
thought,
beat him, man. You got to. I mean, you've got to go in there and defend. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, man, you've got to go in there and just make a
yeah,
statement, man.
insanely good fight though. Uh, Unfortunately, the second one not so much. Maybe because of the quick turnaround. I'm not sure. You think the turnaround had a lot to do with that?
I mean, dude, I don't. I don't. I think he just. I think he made a good read and went over that guard, and landed a good head kick. I don't think that was anything to do with a. I mean, granted, I say that, but maybe Volk's reaction times was off from not getting. Maybe he'd been not training hard and stuff. So I mean, we can speculate and everything, but at the end of the day, man, it was just a good head kick. I feel like I don't. I was worried that he's going to put Volk away, later on in the fight due to his cardio, but when he did it the way he did it, you can't really. It's hard to deny the man. I mean, it's short notice, not short notice. You get a head kick like that quickly. I mean, there ain't many flukes in this game. People talk about lucky punches and lucky kicks and stuff, man. The way I see it, that guy's trained that kick or punch 1,000 times. They probably landed it on purpose, and they probably knew it was going to land. So
Yeah,
it's a good fight, though, man. Good fight. That whole card was, and I was on that card, son. What about that, dude? Dude,
yeah,
that was wild, man. Seeing some of them jokers, dude. You ought to see Johnny Walker, Kyle. Jesus Christ, man, that dude's he's a monster, man. I don't know why, but like seemed like me and him was kind of on the same schedule with everything, man. We'd We'd be in the training room at the same time. We'd be at physical therapy on the same time. Like everything we did for somehow or another, we was in the same room. And I actually talked to Johnny a good bit, man. He's a super nice guy. Like you'd never in a million years think that he's a famous guy. Like he's just super cool and a monster of a man, dude. I mean, a monster of a man. He barely even fit on like them massage tables they'd work on us on, dude. He's like hanging off of it everywhere. I'm like, God, he's a tank and no homicides. He's a pretty thick boy too, man. I have no idea how that Joker ever made 170. It just blows my mind.
Have you had any conversations with him?
No, not really. He just kind of, dude. Hamzat walks around with a good sized group, man. That dude, that Joker's rolling in deep everywhere he's rolling in. I mean, he comes into a room to sign a poster, and there's 10 people with him. So he's kind of like, I mean, he kind of smiled at me and nodded his head and stuff. Like he didn't look stuck up. It just I didn't really have, I wouldn't say just the best opportunity to try to have a conversation with him, but he seemed like he probably wasn't just too stuck up. Been around some of them, man. I tried to talk to them, small talk and everything. They're just like, just kind of like, what I mean? Like they think a little highly of themselves, and I'm just, we can get down with it, dude. I'm just being nice.
There are also some news, interesting enough, after Patty Pimlet's fight with Tony Ferguson. Paul Felder's a guy I have a lot of respect for. You two guys have an opponent. Both of you guys fought Kama Worthy. I like Paul Felder a lot, but Paul Felder said that Patty Pimlet had no shot against anyone in the top 15 in the lightweight division. How do you feel about that? You think Patty's ready for that, or is that a fight you would like, Patty Pimblett?
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh yeah, Scousers get knocked out. I show the world a Scouser can get knocked out, but I think Patty's on a good career path. I think they're going to take care of him, man. I think they're going to match him smartly. I think they're going to take care of him, and I think they're going to let him develop his skills. Is he capable of beating a top 15? Probably, man. I mean, anybody can. I mean, anybody can beat anybody in this game, man. It just takes one. But skill wise, I don't know if he's, maybe he's not up to par with all them guys. I think he's probably better than, maybe one or two of the guys in the top 15, surely. But I think I think the way the UFC is going to take care of him, I think he's got a good shot at, making a even bigger name for himself. But yeah, I wish like crazy they'd let me fight that Joker, man. I've been following. I mean, I knew who Patty was when he was over at Cage Warriors. I mean, I've been watching him for several years, and so he's always been on my radar. Probably 2 years before he signed with the UFC, I was watching Patty over in Cage Warriors, and I'd take that hype train from him, son. I know I could, dude. He gets hit.
He's interesting. He's interesting for one thing. You said, you watched him 2 years before. He declined to sign a contract with the UFC like a year before he signed the one. That it's kind of strange to see a guy get an opportunity after he, declined an opportunity, stayed over in Cage Warriors. I think you knock him out. I think he gets hit too much with the left, and you're not going to get hit too many times by Trevor Peake without going to sleep. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think I could put him away, man.
It's very biased. I'm biased, I know, but
yeah, they're not going to make that fight I don't see them making that fight for a long time, man. Just because like I'm a dangerous fight, and they're trying to build him, and hopefully I hope they get to a position, they realize just how valuable I am, and try to build me as well. But at the end of the day, man, if they take care of me, cool. If they throw me to the wolves, cool. I mean, it's going to be you got to go in there and get the job done. I really am going to push for being paid what the fight's worth, though. Like we was talking about on that first one, I ain't going to be the guy that just I don't want to fight these brain damaging fights for nothing, man. I've fought my whole life for little to nothing. I mean, been at a bunch of scraps out here, besides a bunch of campfires, man. I've taken a bunch of licks, Kyle, even long before the daggum MMA, man. I've taken a bunch of licks, son. God, dude, I come back from the dead, Kyle.
Yeah.
Dude, that was I don't know why I even thought of this, dude. But there's one time I was at a party, man, and this old Joker, big old Joker, dude, he was wham, wham, he was hitting me, and it hit me in my head go this way, and it hit me in my head go that way, and like I was so messed up, dude. I didn't even realize I was fighting, man. But like all of a sudden, I'm seeing these cameras. It hit me this way, and I'd see cameras. It hit me this way, and I'd see cameras. And I'm like, they're recording me. And I told myself, I said, self. No, I'm just kidding. But dude, I come back from the dead that night, man. That was a rough fight. I reckon that old boy had a glass eye, knocked his glass eye out, all kinds of stuff, man. It was. Oh man, I don't know how I'm moving on this right now.
So we talked about Paul Felder, and his opinion of Patty Pimblett, saying that he wouldn't be able to compete against anybody in the top 15. Uh, Speaking of a guy that's kind of making his way, not into the top 15, that's at least the top 50, would be Bo Nickel. And I saw Cody Brundage. He fought on a card with you, Cody did, but they've got him lined up to fight Bo Nickel. Cody says that he's going to give Bo the hardest fight that he's had yet. What do you think about that matchup?
I mean, I think it's a better matchup than his previous matchups for sure. But I just don't know if Cody Brundage and Bo Nichols on the same playing field, skill wise. I personally, I'm not really a big fan of Bo Nickel. I mean, he gets in there and gets the job done and stuff, but he just, I don't know, seems a little bit like a diva to me. He's like, I mean, his first fight is like, if they put me on the prelims, I'll just a guy. I won't even fight. I'll do something else. And I'm like, whatever, dude. And that kind of give me a bad taste in my mouth about him. I'm like, hey, but Cody Brundage, man, I mean, he's got the, I guess he does have the skill set to, maybe push Bo a little bit and give him a tough fight and everything. And I feel like Bo might be in that position, like the way he views himself. He possibly could overlook, several of his next upcoming opponents just because of his, his wrestling accolades and everything. His previous, everything he's done in life. I could see him overlooking, his next several opponents. So you never know, man. You overlook anybody in this game, man. You'll learn your lesson.
Yeah, Brundage, I really didn't know who he was until I saw him fight Trayshawn Gore. He got a win over Trayshawn Gore.
Did
Good fighter.
Brundage got a win over Trayshawn? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did, man.
Yeah,
It was. I
I
want to
forgot.
say he got a knockout of the night on that. Let me make sure I'm right about that before I give him that accolade. Because I mean, not give it to him, just mention it. I'm almost positive because it was definitely not seen or not believed that he was going to do that. All right, let's see. I want to make sure I'm right before I start saying that. Yeah, Trayshawn Gore win right hand to the ground, what overhand right to ground strikes. Yeah, it was on a UFC fight. And I remember when he won the 50K, he said that he was going to buy his wife a van. That was like the thing that stuck out the most. I was like,
I
this
heard that, dude. That's priorities, by God. Happy wife, happy life.
I was like, this dude is down to earth. Yeah. So I'm a fan, man. I'm also a fan of Trayshawn Gore. I don't wish anything. I hated to see him get knocked out that night, but Cody Brundage is the guy. Guy that I'm a fan of too.
Yeah, I like Cody, man. I've not really, me and Trayshawn fought on the same card too down there at AFC 5. And
Yeah.
yeah, he fought O Eccles. And, Trayshawn showed out that night and everything. But I ain't really been around him a whole lot. But, I've got to, been around Cody a little bit. Like you said, we fought on the same card and he seems pretty down to earth, man. He seemed real cool and everything.
Yeah. It's crazy. So you and Dumas have fought on two cards together.
Yep.
The guy he beat Brundage that night in Jacksonville, right?
Yes, sir.
And then y'all, it's strange how you end up getting on all these cards with these guys. It seems like you're on the card with the same guys, well,
Yep.
not the same guys, but those certain guys that you seem to be around. What do you think about Colby Covington going after Ian Gary and talking about his wife. You think it's just a easy spot to
It's
hit?
yeah, I mean, Ian's got the ammo out there for anybody to pick it up and shoot at him, man. So it's that's the heck with fighting in an organization with people like Covington, man. If they can find anything, they'll find it, and they don't. I reckon, man, the way things are seeming, it doesn't matter how low they are. You know, it doesn't matter how traumatizing it was to the individual. They're going to bring it up. So if you got if you got any bones in your graveyard, people's liable to dig them up, man.
You think it's a fight that he's just looking forward to stay relevant? I guess you know.
I do. That's what I was about to say, man. Ian Gary's got a lot of buzz around him. I mean, he's got good publicity, he's got bad publicity, but nonetheless, he's got a lot of publicity. And I do think after Covington's last performance, he's going to be teething and clawing at anything he can to stay relevant, man. Because I mean, if you go out there and have a performance like that after you've taught like you've taught, I mean, the whole world's going to lose respect for you, man. I mean, Donald Trump got out and walked out for his speech was over with. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you got to deliver, man. If you're gonna
Yeah.
talk, you have to deliver. And I can't stand that guy. God, I just don't like Covington, man. I think some of the things he says is just downright hilarious, dude. But like after several of his last interviews, man, I really don't have time to listen to that guy, man. He's just pouring negativity into the world.
Yeah, the one thing with Kobe Company, and although I don't know him, you can usually tell how a person really is by the relationships they've had in the past and whether they still hold them or whether they still are friends with these people. And you know, he has a bad track record,
Ain't
Masvidal,
where's has he got any old friends still? I mean, it don't seem
John Jones. You know,
any
like
of his old friends, dude. None of them, and every one of them say the same thing. They're like, "He's a trashy human being." No, that's really him. He's trash. So I ain't got nothing for Covington, man. He can kick rocks for all I care.
yeah. The MMA News Awards. We were talking about this event, the UFC 290. I believe that was Mexican Independence Day, wasn't it? Was that the
Was that 290?
let's see, it was Volk versus what's his name? El well, that was for the belt. It's the
Jair.
Yair. Yes. Was
Yeah,
that
no, that was not on Mexican Independence Day. Mexican Independence Day, the main event was Grasso and Valentina,
okay?
I believe.
Completely missed that one. But that they yeah, they said that 290 was I wanted to look at that card because I feel like honestly, I feel like that card you fought on at Abu Dhabi was the best card of the year. See, that was 294, right?
I thought, well, the main card might have been one of the best ones, man. But I thought up until my fight, I thought relatively most of the fights that night was kind of a little boring.
Oh, it was a killer, man. I mean, just on paper, and then you know, I don't know. The main event was awesome. You know, had a lot of buzz, and then you got uh what's? Let me look at this card real quick. I'm drawing blank before I should have prepared more for this before I was talking about it. So Michael Chev, Usman versus Hamzat, that was insane. Johnny Walker, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that, but we're going to eventually see that. What, not this weekend, but the next.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited about that matchup, dude. I'm so excited about that matchup. Ankalaev is just a monster, and Johnny Walker's a monster himself. That's gonna be an exciting showdown.
This is a dangerous card to even talk about. I did like seeing Dumas get that win. It looked like, you know, it looked like he was kind of fit to lose, you know, or positioned to lose. It looked like they tried to do that with you. Honestly, I'm not saying that they did. I'm just saying it kind of looked that way with Americans or anybody other than, you know, from an Arab nation was kind of not put in the best position. But
I mean, personally, I kind of felt like that too. I mean, I don't feel like they viewed me as like being overly matched by any means. I think they put the fight together knowing it was going to be, a good fight. I mean, if they match me with anybody, I'm going to give them a good fight. But yeah, I mean, you got the first fighter ever from that country fighting. You don't want him to lose. So, I mean, it's they're you know there's money over there. I mean, they're building a new PI over there. They're doing all kinds of stuff over in that part of the world. So, I mean, I kind of feel like they brought me over there to lose.
Didn't happen though.
No, not at
you
all.
you ended those plans, man. I mean, and I think the UFC really does like you a lot. To me, and once they get the marketing team behind you, man, it's gonna happen very soon, if not on this next contract. But Trevor, I was thinking the other day, I was trying to think about what legend that you most remind me of, and it's Chuck Liddell, brother.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've heard that more than I guess more than any of them. I've heard of being referred to like just the same characteristics and same fighting style as Chuck, probably more than I guess anybody, especially out of the at Legends group. It'd be out of the Legends, it'd be him, and out of the newcomers, it'd be probably Gaethje.
yeah, absolutely. There I go. I used absolutely. That's probably the second time.
Take a drink.
For you guys that don't know, I commentated Trevor's second fight. Absolutely is a joke. It's no longer an inside joke. It's a joke for the Peak Nation podcast too. I said absolutely during that fight. How many times, Trevor?
I
About
don't know, probably 100 at least. It's like,
I was so nervous, man. It's the first. Well, no, this wasn't the second one. This was the third.
yeah,
Your third pro fight. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, dude. Y'all ran it up for sure. We all do that though, man. I say I do honestly a lot. I do. I say a lot. I've got my own little kinks and quirks that I got to work out. I listen to myself. I hate listening to myself, man. I mean, it's okay, but like if I listen to the Spotify version of us, it's like okay. But I get on here and I start watching myself on YouTube, and it's like
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, absolutely is the one I have to stay away from. I'm like, man, how many? Because I can't even watch that fight anymore, Trevor. Because
just watch it on mute.
yeah. So
Uh,
another thing I want to talk about was it was on UFC Fight Pass Fury 8, professional grappling match. They brought in, let's see, Aljamain Sterling was brought in to face Kevin Dantzler. I didn't know who Dantzler was. I know he was a guy with a bunch of accolades. However, man, it was a butt scooting nightmare. You
yeah,
know, every time Aljamain was wanting to have a good grappling match, you brought over this UFC guy. Honestly, probably one of the greatest bantamweights of all time,
yeah.
Aljamain Sterling. And you get this jiu-jitsu guy in there and he's butt scooting 10 full minutes
Are
to
you serious?
oh man, it was awful. It was, and that's, this is
The whole time?
the whole time. The whole time. He was stood up no less than 5 times. He was stood up. And then as soon as he would stand up, he would go back to that position. I mean, at least pull guard, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
at least do that. But yeah, it was not a good match. It's one of those things that I do like grappling. And, I've trained in grappling. I'm not some world class guy or anything like that, but I do like grappling. I love watching grappling. I love to grapple, but it's like, guys, if y'all want this to go mainstream, if you want professional grappling to go mainstream, you're gonna have to compete. You can't scoot over on your butt because everyone's gonna look at that and go, well, in a fight, you know, somebody's gonna kick you in the head, you know,
I,
or worse.
I agree with you, man. That's yeah, you got to keep it exciting, man. I mean, we've went from the Rome Colosseums with swords and lions and tigers and bears and oh my to butt scooting jiu-jitsu. I mean, you gotta bring out a little bit, man, and keep it exciting and stuff. I wish somebody hollered at him, boy, you look like a dog with the worms.
Well, Cron Gracie he set you know, I love the Gracie family. I love the way they fight. I love jujitsu. I'm not knocking jujitsu in any way, but I feel like he set it back, you know, a few years by his performance in the UFC where he was butt scooting. You know, it's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it is entertaining, especially when it's two guys that are, you know, on the same level. But if you bring in a UFC competitor to grapple, you know, you're obviously trying to bring in that market and that area and that fan base. And just to have a guy lay down and butt scoot on him is going to pull those viewers away from the product, you know?
Yeah, I'm watching that for 2 seconds and logging off, man. I'm not. I just I can't. I think to fix that solution or to fix that problem, man. I think the solution to that problem is go combat. You got they
Yes.
got they gonna have to go combat jiu-jitsu because I mean Aljamain sits down on one knee, smacks that joker right in the mouth, and he changes his whole perspective on butt scooting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's one thing that I like. I love jujitsu. I love training it and everything, but there is a lot of times that I'm simply doing some of the techniques like for the whole class and everything. I'm like, well, I'm not doing this in the fight. You know what I mean? Like if it's not applicable in a cage or at least in a street fight, man. I mean, I'll learn it just for the sake of. I mean, I like doing jujitsu and stuff, but I feel like a lot of these jujitsu guys, man, they get caught up in jujitsu, and it's like if you do that on the street, you're losing your teeth. Like if you do that in the cage, you're going night night. Like there's a lot of techniques that I feel like you kind of need to just throw out the door whenever it comes to getting nitty and gritty with it.
Well, your first professional fight, we saw what happens when you pull an Ashi on Trevor Peace.
Don't grab no washi on me, son. I'll send you daggum head through the mat, brother. I ain't playing that game. He started on that leg. I was like, there's that chin, son. I was worried about that old guy, dude. I didn't know if he's gonna wake back up.
That was a brutal knockout.
Oh God, he was out for so long, man. I started. I was pretty fired up. You know, his jawing at me a little bit at the weigh-ins here and there, and flipped me off and everything. You know, he just. So I was pretty fired up whenever I first slept him, man. I said, what I say? I said, this is God. I can't remember why I said something about the jungle. Somebody being in the jungle in there, and he was like, he's still out for so long, man. I literally got down and started praying for him. I was like, God, don't let me kill him. I don't want this guy to be dead. I
Yeah.
felt bad for him, man. Later on, I felt like he didn't know what he was getting in there with, which I mean, I told him he didn't, but I like that dude. Later on in life, I got to spend a little time around him at the later on at the other AFC event stuff, and I feel like that knockout kind of, I guess, to get. I think it stuck with him. I think it's still with him, man. So that kind of stuff kind of weighs on me. We had some buddies the other day. A dude in here in the gym was talking about like, I guess he's got an issue with whenever he's going to fight an individual, he's thinking about like, well, what if I break their leg or their arm and they've got a baby and they can't go to work and everything? And I was like, oh, you're in the wrong game, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break that arm. You can't, you know what I mean? Like I hate saying it like that because you know we're talking about God and everything, but like when you get in there, man, you can have no reservations like that. I mean, you cannot have them kind of thoughts running through your head, or you're making yourself susceptible to being the guy with a broken arm or broken leg, you know, and not being able to take care of your family. So there is stuff that's weighed on me later on after the fights, man. But I mean, during the time I'm in there, it's not like that at all.
Well, you have to, right? You have to. You know, both men have signed the paperwork. You have to have your own safety at the top of the bill. You know what I mean? It's or because if you start going in there looking out for somebody else, I mean, like you said, you could very well be the one who gets hurt. You know,
That's it, man. I'm feeding myself and feeding my family. You know what I mean? It's just you can't, man. I was actually a little worried for that boy after we had that conversation. He's gonna have to clear him cobwebs out, son. He ain't gonna make it far in this world. It's a nitty gritty, dirty game, man.
yeah, it is. Do you think that it's better to get out early once you find out that it's not your game? Are there, because there's a lot of guys that hang in it way too long. Is it better to get knocked out by Trevor Peak, get out of the game, or rattle on 18 fights and only win two of them? Like what's the better? I think you did him a favor if we're just.
Really and truly, man. If we're being honest about it, like if you're just not cut from that cloth, then why not find out sooner than later, But also, like, I don't think that guy. Maybe that guy that maybe that guy we're talking about. Maybe he could have blossomed into a pretty successful fighter and stuff. But like after that devastating knockout, it was something that was in the back of his head that prohibited him from maybe reaching his full potential. So
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of a catch-22, but yeah, I'd say if you're not cut from that cloth, man, then if you want to do it for fun every once in a while, then by all means. But like if you're just, we're all born with different gifts, we all got different purposes and different roads in life to take, and yeah, I'd say if you're not going to make it where you really want to make it, like, and you got that feeling, then yeah, maybe pursue something else because there's only so much time in a day, and this life really isn't that long. So if you can put your goals and direct power and energy towards a positive thing that's actually going to be beneficial instead of having a record of 1-11, then it's go take it. When I say, I see several people fight nowadays that, I get wanting to do it for fun, man. Like, that's fine. If you're doing it for fun, then just, I guess, if it's fun, if that's fun for you, losing like that, then keep having fun. It ain't for me, but more
Yeah.
takes their own.
Well, and this isn't. I don't want to talk about my journey, even though it was just so small, dude. But I fought in Aniana. I lost. It was a tournament. I met up with the guy that I lost to. His name was Sean Little. He was actually training up here in the Huntsville area, so I got with him, started training with him. Our coach went out. I think he was training with. This was way back in the day with Nick Diaz. I believe he was doing some shadow work or something out west. But he went out west. He booked a fight and he got demolished out west. Well, the coach that we were training with, he was the best I'd ever seen. I'd never seen anybody, and he got beaten like 45 seconds out west. Well, Trevor, that was when I was like, okay, I done lost to one of these guys in the gym. The best guy I've ever seen, short of not being on television, just lost in 45 seconds, and I'm training with him. I was like, I'm done. Like, like this is going nowhere. I'm done. I think I paid 2 months up front and I left. I was like, sorry guys, but
We say all that to say this too, though. Like, I don't want to like make that sound like I'm talking crap about her, but like Mary Rosenbeck, man. Mary, I can't. I'd have to look at her record up on Typology, but Mary had a super rough go whenever she made her. Whenever she started as an amateur, I think Kyle, I want to say she went like 0-4, 0-5, maybe
yeah,
even 0-6 or something like that, and then once she got with Jeff, ultimately, I felt like Jeff and her, they really meshed together well, and his style and her style, it went super well for her and for him as a coach. But after they got together, man, and started dialing everything in, Mary's a heck of a prospect now. So I don't know. You just gotta know yourself, man. I think some people should put their energy somewhere else, and some people should hold on a little bit longer.
I knew I shouldn't have held on. It was time. It was time.
At least you know, man.
Yeah, now I'm a big fan and I get to do what I love. But I am fortunate enough to have had that experience. Although how small it was, at least gives me some perspective of what the guys go through, and have just even though I have just a small experience with it's some experience to at least feel for the guys that get in the cage.
Yeah,
Although I have no idea what it feels like on the level that you guys, because from back then to now, you were the reason why I got into this side of the business. It's because when I saw you fight Trevor, I was like, what is this? Like, like,
kid.
like I didn't know that this was happening in Alabama, and it was special, man, because it was like, whoa. I knew the second I watched you fight, I knew you were going to be in the UFC. I knew it, you know. When I remember us talking in that it was like a diner. No, it wasn't a diner. It was like a little bar, Irish pub. And I was like, dude, in 2 years, you're going to be in the UFC, man. Like, I just have no doubt. I knew it, man. The second I saw you fight, I've then since then, I've seen guys fight, and I knew that they have potential, but I've never seen anyone on the regional scene that had more drive, more power, just fit for the UFC than you. I knew you were going to go. I had no
Absolutely.
doubt. You used my word, man.
Yeah, man, it's been cool, man. Dude, I'm gonna miss that I'm gonna miss these little regional shows, dude. I miss them terribly, Kyle. That was I got coach chills thinking about them all ago when you were saying like first time you seen me fight and stuff, man. It's just that peak,
Yeah,
dude. I'm going that little daggum Coliseum in Rainsville, Alabama, man. That's dude, that place was all right, dude.
it
All
was
of them, man.
special.
The Joe, I mean, all of them's been special, man. That's one thing these fighters get caught up in, calling. I heard old black guy on a reel here a while back, and he's like, "All these people in a hurry, get where they going, and when they get there, ooh, they gonna be sad, because it's the journey." And boy, man, he was right, dude. Like, there's just so much stuff that I took for granted, dude, that I didn't realize I was gonna miss as bad as I missed. But I definitely miss it, man.
Yeah, and the good news is, you're still on the journey. Uh, you
Yep.
guys in internet land and on Spotify that are listening, you're able to keep up with this thing through the Peak Nation podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Trevor, any parting words before we get off here, brother?
Just wanted to, thank everybody for, tuning in and just really supporting me and thank you, Kyle, for all this. Thank all my coaches and everybody here behind me at Agogi and Jeff with his striking techniques and everything. Man, I'm just overwhelmingly blessed, dude. I got some really good sponsors and friends in my life, man. Johnny Jones and Robert White and people like that, man, they really, really make this stuff easy for me, man. I mean, I'd spent a good bit of time with Johnny here the other day, dude, and I got back to my place the other night and just was crying because like of the opportunities that he's given me to, really invest in myself and train and not have the worry of like, maybe where my next meal's gonna come from, dude. Because there's been, dude, if there wasn't such thing as eggs, man, and red potatoes, I don't know if I'd made it through this career, dude. I've ate so many eggs and red potatoes, dude. It ain't even funny, son. Freezer deer meat. I mean, dude, it's been a struggle, man. So being able to train and apply everything fully into this game without some of that worry has been a huge blessing. So shout out to all them guys. And if you new year, new you, I encourage you strongly to just try to chase after God this year. If you don't do anything else, just try to chase after God because I promise you it will get tough, but man, it's the most rewarding thing an individual can do, man. You'll unlock so much potential and just so much more for yourself in life if you can do that. But no, when you go to chasing God, things gonna fall apart for you. And bad things don't come in one or twos. They comes in threes and fours and fives. It ain't ever one thing. One thing ain't enough to break you, but three or four things are. And it piles on, and it's like quicksand, man. You feel your head going under. Just you keep breathing, keep fighting. You'll get out of it. But just know when you go chasing God, things are gonna fall apart. It's designed. It's designed to do that. It's supposed to do that. Like if chasing after God was simple as, oh, I'm gonna chase after God and it's gonna be dandelion and roses and money and all this glorious stuff, everybody would just chase after God, man. But it's not that simple. You're gonna have trials and tribulations, and like I said, they come in fours and fives. So just stay the course, maintain the course, and keep it 10 toes down, and you'll come out on top. But I love you guys, and thank y'all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And thank you again, Kyle, for everything, man. It means the absolute world to me.
That is awesome wisdom from our very own Trevor Peak, UFC fighter, the Peak Nation podcast. Guys, once again, big shout out, big thank you to Agogi Combatives and Agogi Armory. They are located on 95 Hunt Drive in Rossville, Georgia. Also, Aries Fight Series 23 at the world famous Cotton Eye Joe, January 5th. That's this Friday. Check them out. Hey, one more thing before I want to give a shout out. Our tattoo guy, our our tattoo artist, is fighting for Butterbeans. Uh,
Oh, that's Saturday, ain't it?
yeah, yeah.
Ain't
I,
that's Saturday, ain't it? Yeah.
I was just like, man, oh,
Are you going?
I have to go. Well, Friday. Hopefully, I can go Saturday to go watch that fight. Because okay, so Friday's the Joe. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, I should Gadsden, right?
Yeah, yeah, same place I knocked that boy out was talking about earlier. I'm gonna try to go, man. He actually messaged me and asked me if I wanted to come corner him, which they're assigning corners there, I reckon. Then I had another guy reach out to me and was want me to come corner him, and didn't even know that the guy he was asking me to corner him, but but I don't know, man. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you. I know I'll see you Friday. We got one guy fighting Chewy. He's gonna be on that card Friday. So as long as life permits me, I'll see you Friday.
Yeah, well, Dallas. I want to give him a shout out at Inked Up Tattoo Parlor. He'll be fighting there at Gaston at Butterbean's Tough Man competition. Dallas, good luck, brother.
Yeah, good luck, Dow. We rooting for you, brother. I'll be there if I can, man.
Yeah,
Is this Butterbean's event?
Yeah, brother.
I seen he was gonna be there, but I thought they paid him to just come be a guest. I didn't know it was actually his.
Well, I'm not 1,000%. I'm not.
Whoa, now.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, I got you.
I'll text him and ask him. Sometimes he responds, sometimes he don't. You know, like
I messaged several people. I sent it to Miles and Austin. Several people. I was like, dude, if I wasn't in UFC soon, I'd be in this.
yeah, you cannot do that. You will kill someone.
They signed. No, I'm just playing. I'm joking. To be fair, man. But that I thought it was $2,500 for like the single individual. I was like, dude, I'm about to put a wig on, son. I go up in there, I go with a mullet or something, dude. They recognize these old slant eyes of mine, dude.
Looking like Patty Pimlet.
Yeah, dude. I'll bowl it up, dude. I'll do something, man.
Well, brother, thank you again. Guys, thanks for listening. And we're out. Thanks, Trevor.
Guys, love you, dude.
See you, brother.